The Douglas County Health Department says extreme heat, of course, can be dangerous for the most vulnerable in our community, the elderly and children, Lauren.
Yeah, the health department says as people age, their bodies may become less efficient at regulating their body temperature, and that makes them more vulnerable to heat stroke, and medications may put them more at risk. Young children are also at risk of dehydration since they have a higher water turnover rate and smaller fluid reserves, and heat rash can be an issue for children's skin.
Also, when going out, children might not understand how hot surfaces and objects can get in the sun, and that's put them at risk for burns.